Tēnā koutou katoa, no mai hoki mai ki te Haohao Te Tangata, our Whangaroa Papa Hapū video series where we're talking about all things redress here in Whangaroa. So today we're here in the beautiful Hiru Haramahau marae at Te Tiriti. And with me I have Matua, Reuben, Heihei and Whaea Kathleen, Heihei. Tēnā kōrero.
Tēnā koe.
So Matua Reuben is the mangai for ngā uri a tareha ki te manganui me te Ngāti Rēhia te hapū ko ngā pui te iwi, and Whaea Kathleen is the flag bearer for te wakaminenga o ngā hapū o Nutirini ki raro mai o Hauraki. So yeah, would you like to start with just introducing yourselves?
Ko tareha te tūpuna, ka moia mahore ka puta ko te rutunga, ka moia kāpune hone ka puta ko hare te heihei. Ko hare te heihei, ka puta ko uramuhira, wai hotia ki reira, ko rewa, tāna ko te para, tāna ko hana marae, ka moia tāpai hera mai, ka puta ko te aurere. Ka moia te aurere a uramuhira te heihei, ka puta ko hare wiramu, ka puta tēnei o ko Reuben Heihei. Amara ko hau tēnei. Te māngai mō ngauri o tāreha ki te tīma o nui.
Kia ora.
Tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe matua.
Anō rā, ko taku tuahine, ko te tuahine tuarua, nā ko Kathleen, Heihei ko tana ingoa tūturu, nā kuia tēnā tahai au, tana mahi ki te pupuri te kara o he whakaputanga te rangatiratanga o Nutirini. Ki raro mai o Hauraki.
Kia ora. So today's kōrero, we're talking about He Wakaputanga, and no better people to speak to this kaupapa because your kōrero tuku iho is so immense. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing with us today. What was the main purpose of He Wakaputanga and why was it signed by our northern rangatira in 1835?
It was to declare our self-determination, and it was to, bring that mana back to our people. It wasn't just declared here amongst our chiefs. We've had it since time immemorial. So the Declaration of Independence, He Wakaputanga, 1835, is a reminder of who we are. We're still here and we're not going to go away. Self-autonomy wasn't about just our right to govern our own people. It was also our right to all taonga tuku iho. And we still practice those today. It really empowers our people to understand that history.
Trade was probably, our tūpuna already had ships and were starting to take barter and trade across to Australia. After the letter of the 13 chiefs that sent a letter to King William in 1831, it began a process of seeking recognition for the sovereign status of our people, which was actually established in 1817 when King George, when he gazetted that New Zealand was a dominion in its own right. And that was a net result also of Hongihika's visit to England in 1815 or thereabouts. But that started the dialogue for the sovereign right of tangata whenua.
Yes, because our people were trading actively way before we had any settlers come. Yes, we did have our own ships. A lot of our ships were being confiscated. One in particular was taken to Sydney, Australia, in Neutral Bay. So our chiefs went over to tell the king, hey, you took our ships. So he in turn said that we could fly one of his flags so that we could continue to trade. So our tūpuna personalised the meaning of that flag, which we still fly today. So we become internationally known as an independent tribe, because all those that were coming here to settle, they were reckless, they were really out of control, and that's a fact. And they were supposed to govern their own people, not interfere with anything that belonged to us, like all the tangata or see, like it didn't just stop on the whenua. We had it in the air, in the waters, and we still do. So it's been watered down quite a bit over the years, like Whanakupa said, not 1 acre. Well, I say not one more inch, because this is why the claims have come about, because all these things have been taken from us. Just the interactions we've had over time, like Te Wakameninga, means the gathering of chiefs, and that's where our tūpuna made decisions. You know, they didn't sort of sit in marae's at the time. In the beginning, they were sitting out on the whenua, papatūnuku, you know, in the natural environment of ranginui, and those were, everything for them was there, right there, everything. As far as the eye could see, that's what our tūpuna said. They owned everything as far as the eye could see. So it wasn't so much ownership, I shouldn't say that. It was more so kaitiaki. Kaitiaki, you're looking after the whenua, the people. At the end of the day, through the He Wakaputanga, there's 4 articles, and it also says in there that there should be no authority over and above the chiefs of our country, of our state, you see. Yeah, no foreigners were to place any law over and above the chiefs.
So how did the British, or how did the Crown respond to He Wakaputanga and what the rangatira of the time were proposing through that?
Go back to King William. Him and his predecessor, King George, they had pretty much put their royal protection over the recognition of our tino rangatiratanga. And but we come into Queen Victoria's time. This is where the London Company began to assert more influence, and the Crown actually became more figurehead rather than authority, as were her predecessors. The action, it appears, was the acquisition of our land, you know, by the Sydney authorities.
Yeah.
That they came here, that they had quite a clear plan to grab our whenua.
Following on from that kōrero Matua, what kind of happened after that? So He Wakaputanga was started in Whangaroa, is that right?
The dialogue started in Whangaroa. Matangira, I believe they had a big hui there under there's a Poutukawa rākoi down there. That's where the conversation started. It eventually landed, of course, at Waitangi. But 1834, of course, was the first action and meeting at Waitangi to choose the flag. There were several flags, but this flag here was the one that was eventually chosen by the majority. Although there was another flag that I think was put on in them that back in the day, that it had a sort of like a moon crescent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They actually, I think that was the first flag that they kicked off with, but this is the one that got the international recognition and the royal assent. Quite an interesting discovery that the 8-pointed stars, the 4 is the royal crest of King George and King William.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering if you could kind of give so that's what that represents.
Yeah,
up there.
that's what's represented, and I've actually seen that crest on a portrait of King William and his royal crest, which is that, except that it didn't have the black outline. And I've only just learned that in 1861 it was introduced to Taranaki.
Oh, wow.
And they opted for the white border. From some of the narratives, the reason being was that the white feather was their royal crest.
Interesting learning all these different kōrero, eh?
Yeah.
There's several meanings, actually, that our people personalise, which, you know, the 8-pointed star represents our 7 waka, The 8th represents the manuhiri that came here. And of course our moana, ngā haui whā in all four corners, the wairua, the white, and the black fumbiation for some of our people represents the indigenous people, you know, free black, you know, because of the oppression that our people have suffered over time.
That's just a story that's not being backed up by fact.
Okay.
Yeah, those are just, you know, those
Different
are,
kōrero.
yeah, those are just different kōrero. There's a whole lot of kōrero that people have attached to that, but simply it is the royal crest of Great Britain.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, it's because it's connected to the 1835 He Wakaputanga document. And for me, I fly it for my tūpuna. And my tūpuna represents every other tūpuna that's put their signatory to that document. I feel honoured and proud to fly it. And you know what? So many people are flying Te Kara now. I don't really have to be anywhere, but still be there when it counts. So we do go to Waitangi every year, and we do celebrate He Wakaputanga. And when the Wakameninga meet in Congress, this is when every hapu come together and collectively make a decision. And we can't go into any other hapu's territory and say, hey, you can't do this. But when we come together in Congress, which we've been doing for years, for centuries, we are unified in that collective hui. That's when we're unified, and that's when we make decisions.
Matua, can you speak to what the role of the Whangaroa chiefs was and what their legacy is today?
Yeah, I think back in the day it wasn't identified so much as Whangaroa, but there was really the whakapapa of Haohao and whakaaro and their descendants, you know, because of the tail end of the conquest of Ngāti Miru, Waitangi Te, and then Ngāti Pou was Hongeheka's last event. But I saw an old map that showed that Whangaroa actually started from the Waitangi River. But of course the claims process has created a whole new
Boundary.
boundary identification, and that a little bit backwards for me.
Yeah.
You know, but I like to look at, I view things from what I like to say is the actual,
Yeah.
you know, and that's where Ngāti Rēhia has a strong association with the hapu of Whangaroa from that whakapapa that aligned us together. We come off Whakaari's sister, Te Perenga, Ngāti Rēhia, and so we have that actually a very close blood link, and our tūpuna Tāreha was a very close ally with all of those rangatira of that area, Hongi, and of course his children, Hare Hongi and them.
That's actually my direct line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ururoa, they were very tight, Titore, all of those tūpuna.
All related.
Yeah, they were all really tight back in the day, and pretty much they were the influence behind the establishment of He Wakaputanga. That alliance too with the going right up to Raka Mangamanga, Ngaitawake, of course Ngāti Rāhiri, Ngāti Kawa. There was a strong alliance there, and marriage too with that Waitangi tie, and that's probably where they chose that spot because they all had a collective interest in Waitangi back in the day. But to me, He Wakaputanga, it's, if you look into it, it's a peace covenant, you know, and it came off the tail end of conflict amongst tribes, iwi, and that. And but if you read it, it really shows a focused point on peace and prosperity for our people and the well-being, health, safety, and well-being of our people, and prosperity in terms of trade and commerce.
So a really beautiful foundational document, like to serve all of our people. And
Yes.
Yeah, well,
That's
after following it this is when it was lifted up again by Te Taumata Kaumātua Ngāpuhi.